So, so there was one Subhadra I spoke about in Yogamaya, then one was Mahamaya. And then Vasudev had one daughter. Vasudev had sons and one daughter. And this daughter was born of Rohini. So Rohini is mother of Subhadra, Vasudev is father of Subhadra. And that's how she is sister of Krishna and Balaram, right? Like Balaram is son of Rohini. So similarly, but she was born after Kamsa was killed, after they all came back and Kamsa was killed. And so then she was born. So she is younger. She was not born before. So she is the daughter. So this is one sister. And the one which is sitting with them, she is known as Bhakti Swarupa. She is the incarnation of devotion to Krishna. She gives devotion. That is why Subhadra is there. Otherwise in the temples, where do you find sister next to the Lord? Have you found anywhere? Any of the temples? It's Radha, Krishna, Lakshmi, Narayan, so many consorts. So why Subhadra? Because she is Bhakti Swarupa here in that form. She is giving us bhakti. So this is how the energies, I was just speaking about energies. So Krishna's energies, they take various forms. Just to please Krishna, just to serve Krishna. Just to increase the happiness of that pastime. Just to bring the mood in that pastime. And then there are various energies. There is one energy which holds the entire spiritual world, which manifests the spiritual world. There is energy which gives happiness to Krishna, Hladani potency. So like that there are various potencies Krishna have. What does it mean that Krishna has potencies? What is it meaning? Like we also have some potency, right? All of us have some potency. What is our potency? We have some potency. We can lift this chair, table, something like that. That's all. That's all our potency. Krishna's potency is it just works on desires. Krishna desires material world should manifest and the material will manifest. Krishna doesn't have to do a lot of labor, a lot of hard work to make this material world. He just desires and everything comes up. Why? Because his energies work. And that's how we say that Krishna is everywhere. Many times you must have heard this, Krishna is everywhere. Where is he? Krishna is in trees, Krishna is in mountains, Krishna is in water. But do you see Krishna? What does that mean? Krishna is expanding everywhere? No, it means that Krishna is present through his energies. And that's how we understand the statement made by Krishna, that Krishna says, I am outside of everyone and I am inside of everyone. Like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, very, very bewildering statement. Suppose if I'll tell you that I am in this room and this room is inside me. That's what Krishna says. I am in this room and this room is inside me and I am outside the room. What do you understand? That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah? So do you understand anything if I say like this? I am inside the room, room is inside me and I am outside of the room. You will say, Prabhuji, please go and get a go to a psychiatrist or something, please get yourself check up and then we can sit and talk about Krishna. That's what Krishna says. So how do we understand that he is outside everyone, he is inside everyone? So he is inside everyone in the form of Paramatma, he is outside of everyone in the form of his energies. He is spread everywhere in the form of his energies. So we can perceive Krishna, we can see Krishna through his energies. And that's the reason in 7th chapter, in 10th chapter, also in 8th chapter, he mentions about his vibhutis. He mentions how you can see me. He says, just you're drinking water, you can see me. You're looking at the sun, you can see me. You're looking at the moon, you can see me. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo. So many things. He goes on saying. What is the reason? He is giving us a way to perceive Him, to see Him. So if we want to see Krishna, what should we do? If you want to see His energies, what should we do? To see Krishna, to perceive, to see the workings of His energies. It's a wonderful way His energies are working. You see, everything goes on time. Well, 1 month before we know rains are going to come. This is happening, that is happening. We have all, what do you call, Panchang? Years back, people will say that now we are in 2014. If you want to know, in 2024, same day, today, what time the sun will rise, you will know today. Isn't it wonderful? And it will rise on the same day. That's Krishna. So how to understand and how to see that? The way is the process given by our acharyas. It's called sadhana bhakti. Rupa Goswami explains that the sadhana bhakti has two divisions, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. I hope all of you have heard these terms at least. Vaidhi means just follow the rules and regulations, vidhi. That's called Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And Raganuga means Raganuga means to follow on the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Lord. Rag Anuga. Anuga means follow. Raga means eternal associate of the Lord who is in spontaneous love with Krishna. So we should follow him. That's called Raganuga Bhakti. We are on a platform where we have to perform Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now what is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? Where we have strict rules and regulations. Sometimes we feel, why we need all these rules and regulations? Why Vidhi, why Sadhana? I can love Krishna just like that. There are no rules in loving. If you want to love someone, there cannot be any rules, right? Like suppose a boy loves a girl and the girl says morning 4:30 you get up, you have to come, otherwise no love. What kind of love is this? There are conditions. It's not pure love, it's not real love. Real love should not have any conditions. But here we have condition. Get up at 4:30, sit 2 hours, sit straight and chant His name. If you tell this to someone in this world, they'll just give up. He said, we don't want such love. Better. Like I remember, one time in our temple, one person came. He was about 24, 25. And someone who had recommended him said that, he's a very good person and very strong and he wants to become a brahmachari, and he was already a pujari in one of the temple. I said, Acha, very nice. So he came and met me and I was talking to him. He said, Prabhuji, I just want to become a brahmachari. I want to give my life. I said, fine, but you have to keep coming to the temple, be in association, start chanting. No, I just want to join. And tomorrow I can come and join the ashram. I was very happy, of course, to hear. But then I was telling, no, you just wait. Then I thought, okay, let me tell him what is brahmachari life. So then I said, yeah, you want to come, it's nice, but do you know what we do? I know brahmachari life. You don't marry. I said, that's not the only thing. You don't get married means you become brahmachari. That's not the only thing. And I said, let me tell you our schedule. And then I said, we get up every day at 3:30. I just started. I said, first thing, we get up every day at 3:30. He said, 3:30? I said, yeah. No, I cannot become brahmachari. Just by that. He just left. He said, I'm going. I said, hey, what? I said, I cannot get up at 3:30. Every day. Just see. So this person could have said, I want to love Krishna, and what is this condition that you're telling me to get up at 3:30? What kind of love is this? Actually, in one sense, it's not love. Where you have conditions. Gopis had this condition. Have you ever heard? Krishna told gopis, get up in the morning, otherwise, I will not meet you, or the cowherd boys. Have you ever heard? They were chanting, taking the mala to the forest and telling Krishna, okay, I have to chant my rounds. Krishna, please just be awake, let me chant. They were not doing. Yeah. And that is love. And we say they love. Cowherd boys love Krishna. And Krishna loves them. You can imagine how Krishna was playing with them. One time somebody asked me a question, why Krishna was so intimate with gopis and not with gopas, not with cowherd boys, not with gwalbals? Why? I said, who told you that he was not very intimate? He said, we know. We are only hearing that, he was performing pastime intimate with gopis and not with cowherd boys. Why not? So then I told him some pastimes. I said, what is intimacy? Now you see Krishna was going with them, sitting with them, taking prasadam. And not only that, when somebody used to bring buttermilk, and then a cowherd boy will drink buttermilk, keep it in his mouth, and Krishna will just go and press his cheeks and the buttermilk will come out and Krishna will drink. So what else you think? What intimacy? What else you need? He's drinking, he's Supreme Lord, and what is he drinking? That's what bewildered Brahma. Brahma said, how can he be Lord? Just see how he's behaving. He's eating, Lord means, Shastra says, when you're offering, should be all proper mantras, and you should ring the bell, and it should be very pure, clean, as we do it. I mean, those of you who have the deities, you don't just take anything or you don't do that, you take it in your mouth and then Krishna take it. Anytime you tried? Please don't do that. So Brahma said, what is this? How can he be Lord? But that's his pastime. That's his love. That's how intimate he is with Gwalbals, with Gopas. Otherwise, when you're offering to Lord, everything is required. You have heard that famous story where Krishna wanted to steal butter, and every day he was stealing butter with his friends. So finally one day they said, we will catch him anyhow. All the gopis, they decided. So when Krishna was supposed to come, so they put all the bells all around the house. Even in the window. So if he climbs up, if he tries to enter through window, the bells will start ringing. Even on the pot, the butter, where the butter was kept, everywhere, bells. So that as soon as he comes, ting, 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 and then he will be caught. So Krishna came, all his friends, and Madhumangal, Madhumangal, how he is. So Madhumangal saw, because he was supposed to enter, and obviously when he will enter, the bells will start ringing. So Madhumangal says, hey Krishna, we cannot do it today. He said, why? He says, see the bells? Krishna says, so what? You don't know who am I? Sometimes Krishna used to show his supremacy. I am the Supreme Lord. Though they never believed it. One time Krishna was trying to explain them, hey, you are not behaving with me properly. Don't you know who am I? Who are you? I am the Supreme Lord. Acha? He said, yeah, I am the Supreme Lord. I said, acha, don't you know that I was just few days old and I killed Putana? And then Madhumangal said, shh, just keep quiet. I know how Putana was killed. He said, hey, Krishna said, how? What is the other way? I mean, at least I know that I killed. What is it? Actually, when she entered, there were Brahmanas who were chanting mantras. By the power of the mantras of Brahmana, she was killed, and you just got the credit. Krishna says, wow. And then what about Govardhan? He said, what Govardhan? What is Govardhan? 7 days I was lifting on my finger. So he said, everyone knows, everyone saw who lifted Govardhan. Krishna said, what do you mean? Everyone saw? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone saw. I lifted. He said, we were holding it with our sticks there. Otherwise, we all would have been killed. So sometimes Krishna used to tell also, they never used to believe. And they used to make fun. One time they saw that Brahma, Shiva, everyone came and they were worshipping Krishna. Their friend Krishna was being worshipped by great demigods. Just imagine if you see someone like this, someone amongst you, say suppose this one, she's been worshipped. What will you? You will start worshipping, you will start bowing down. Oh, you are the Supreme Personality, demigods are worshipping. But once they went, what did all these cowherd boys did? They started imitating. One became Brahma, and as Brahma was doing, they started doing, oh wow, four head, and he's doing. They're just playing. They never even thought that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them, he's not. They don't believe he's God. Even we don't believe he's God. Right? We don't believe he's God. But there is a difference. They don't believe he is God because they love him. We don't believe he is God because we love ourselves. So Madhu Mangal was trying to go inside, and he said, Krishna, don't worry. He called the in-charge demigods of all the bells. Please come here. And he was shivering. Krishna called, what happened? Why did you call me? He said, see, I'm going inside with all my friends. It's an order. None of the bells should ring. Yes, pakka, pakka. Okay, so all the friends entered. Nothing happened. No bells rang. They went inside. They took that pot. They took the butter. Everyone was ready. And Krishna was about to eat, and he brought it up to here, and all the bells started ringing. Tan, 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 tan. Everywhere. And Krishna was bewildered. What happened? I ordered him, and how is it? Krishna just called him again. All the bells ringing, and the gopis were coming, and friends were thinking what to do, and Krishna was angry, and he called him again. Why did you do this? I told you that I am going inside. Until I am inside, you should not, none of the bells should ring. And how did it happen? Why did? He said, you said. I said. When did I say? In the Shastras you have mentioned that when the bhoga is being offered to you, the bell should ring. And you were taking bhoga, and we started ringing. What's the problem? It's your order. So Krishna was performing pastimes like that. So he was intimate with his friends. He was intimate with everyone. He is intimate. He has intimate relations with everyone, including us. It's only that we have forgotten that relationship. We have forgotten that Krishna is our eternal, for example, he says Father. We may have any relation with Krishna. We don't have to speculate now what relation we have. There are people in Vrindavan who will give you your relationship now only. You are a peacock in spiritual world. Start dancing like peacock. Prabhupada said, just be a servant. Our position is we are servant. Even if you are a friend, you are a servant. You are serving Krishna by giving him pleasure. Even if you are a gopi, you are a servant. You are serving Krishna by giving him pleasure. Serving is our dharma. That's the nature. That's what we are all supposed to do. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality. So that's how the relationship is between Jiva and Krishna. So sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti requires rules and regulations to be strictly followed to revive that relationship with Krishna. Because we have forgotten. If you have not forgotten, there's no need. As I said, the gopas, the gopis, the cowherd boys, none of them chant the holy name. I mean, at least on the mala. Otherwise, they keep chanting. Yeah, they always keep chanting. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that the day Krishna will perform some activities, he will kill some asura or anything. Next day they will make it into poems. They'll make it into bhajans and songs. And Yashoda and others, they'll keep singing throughout the day. So we have to count. They were not counting. They were just chanting and chanting and chanting all the time. Krishna, Govinda. That's what the spiritual world is. That you keep chanting the holy name. Here we are counting. Why? Because we do not have taste. And sadhana bhakti is meant to develop that taste for the holy name. Chant with taste. We are not chanting with taste. We're just following. In fact, Krishna consciousness is not just to be followed. It is to be enjoyed. We have to come from the level of following Krishna consciousness to the level of enjoying Krishna consciousness. And to bring us to that level, we require Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. We require strict rules. So we should be very strong in our sadhana, in the process given by acharyas. Be very strong in that. Be very strict in that. What is the reason when you become strict, what happens? Don't you think if you become strict, your heart will become very hard, like a steel? You become very strict. No. Because if you are strict in your sadhana, if you are strict in the process given by Srila Prabhupada and acharyas, then slowly, slowly that steel frame which is keeping us away from Krishna will break. So if you have to break the steel frame, you have to be strong. So not that by strong sadhana your heart becomes steel framed, but by strong sadhana we break that steel frame which is keeping us away from Krishna. We have an armor. You know armor? The soldiers go to war, they wear armor. So we have an armor which is not allowing the mercy to flow inside. There is a very nice incident in Mahabharata. Krishna had spoken Bhagavad Gita. Everyone was ready. Arjun was ready. Now we have to fight. And suddenly they saw Yudhishthir. He started removing his gloves, his shoes, his armor. He gave up his weapons, kept them away, and without anything, barefoot, he just started running towards the Kauravas, towards Bhishma, Drona. And everyone was surprised. What happened to Yudhishthir? Now here is the time now. Anyway, we were waiting for 45 minutes or 1 hour. Krishna and Arjuna were talking. Now it's over. Now it's action. Arjuna also said, Nashto moha smritir labdhatvat prasadat mayachita karishye vachanam tava. I'm ready to fight. Now come on, let's go. And then Yudhishthir, he was a king and he's just running. He gave up everything. So Bhim was very angry. You know Bhim, every time. Actually Bhim had a lot of powers. From the time he was born. When Kunti gave birth to Bhim, he was just 2-3 days old. You can understand, 2-3 days old baby, how tender, and what's the power of a baby of 2-3 days old. So she was holding, Kunti was holding, and she was standing up on a rock, on a hill. And suddenly the breeze was very strong and Bhim fell down. You can imagine the position of Kunti, what she would have thought, Some of you can imagine a small child, 2 days old, in your arms, and suddenly, Kunti started crying and she ran down, somehow came to that rock where Bhima had fallen. Bhima fell down on a rock and she came there and she thought everything is over and she was crying, and when she came there she saw Bhima was laughing nicely and the rock on which he fell was crushed completely to powder. And Bhima was, happy. That was his power, And when he was in forest for 12 years, every day he was telling Yudhishthir, it is because of you. It is because of you. You stopped me, otherwise I would have killed Duryodhan there itself. It's all because of you we are suffering. Every day he will tell. So he was waiting for this day for years. 12 years in forest and 1 year incognito. And he was just waiting. When will that day come? I have to kill all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. He had taken a vow that I will kill. That was his vow. During Draupadi's disrobing, he took this vow that I will kill all 100 sons. And that's why during the battle, when some 1 or 2 will come in front of Arjuna, Yudhishthir or anyone else, they will not kill him. You go, you are son of Dhritarashtra, Bhim will kill you. Because Bhim was killing them with love. lot of love. So he used to catch two of them, one like this and another like this, and break their heads. Ah, this was his love, out of love he was doing. He was showing his affection. So Bhima was waiting for this day. And here is Yudhishthira, he's just running towards, and without any weapons, without any armor, without any shoes, without any gloves, just like this. So Bhima started running, stop, but Yudhishthira won't stop at all. Nakul, Sahadev, Arjuna was looking at Krishna. Now he needs Bhagavad Gita, you have told me, now please go and tell him. He is running. But Krishna was smiling. Arjuna was, what is this going on? And Krishna was, don't worry. So Yudhishthira went. I'll tell you the significance of this also a little later. So Yudhishthira went. Though everyone was trying to stop him, Yudhishthira, don't do it. Because he thought anyway Yudhishthira did not want to fight. From the beginning he was telling. Every day they'll tell, it's because of you. And he'll say, no, don't worry, we'll not fight. What is what will we gain by fighting? So we'll not fight. Till the end. That's why they sent a messenger first, so that Duryodhana should agree and we will not fight. He didn't agree. So then he sent Krishna again. Krishna was the second messenger, not the first one. First one was sent and Duryodhana refused. So he said, no, Krishna, you go. Try once again. And Bhima was saying, no point in trying, let's fight. He said, no, try. So now also Bhima and Arjuna thought that, finally he doesn't want to fight. So he went to Bhishma first and he paid his obeisances. And he told Bhishma, please give us the permission, we want to go to the forest. Bhishma said, what happened here? We are here to fight, armies are standing and you coming in. Actually Bhishma understood that Yudhishthira was trying to say something else. We taunt, we say like, we want to say something else, but we just say in a very nice way. So Bhishma understood that Yudhishthira is trying to say that you are fighting from Adharma's side. And if you are fighting on Adharma's side, what is the use? Why should I fight? Let me go to the forest. So that time Bhishma said that, I have taken money from Duryodhana and that's why I am bound. But you have come to me and you are asking for a benediction. If you would not have come to me, I would have cursed you. This is given in Mahabharata. I would have cursed you if you would not have come. But you have come, I give you benediction. And what's the benediction he gave? Vijay Bhava. You see, the fight is going to start and the enemy is saying Vijay Bhava. Yudhishthira won. He went to Dronacharya, same thing, Vijay Bhava. Kripacharya, Vijay Bhava. Nobody told this to Duryodhana. No one. Even his own guru, Dronacharya, never told him Vijay Bhava. Bhishma never told him Vijay, because he never went in that mood. So that's a lesson to us. How to approach a spiritual master. This is the first lesson for our sadhana bhakti. That how to approach a spiritual master. He gave up everything. So give up your ego. We have an armor of ego, desires. We feel we are very great. Give up all that. And then go to a guru. Giving up all that. Yes. As Yudhishthira went. And when he was going, everyone was trying to stop him. Don't go, don't do. That's what he teaches. When you are approaching a bona fide spiritual master, let not any obstacle hinder your progress. Just run. Just go. Surrender. And Yudhishthira did it. And what was the benefit? Vijay Bhava. So if you really want to win this battle, which we are fighting in this material world, then you have to approach a spiritual master. Tad vidhi pranipatena. Pranipatena means very humility. Humble way. Tad vidhi pranipatena. Not in an arrogant way. I know everything. One boy went to a spiritual master, told him, I want to learn Brahma Vidya. Give me the knowledge of Brahman. He said, okay, sit. And then he started explaining, see, actually Brahman means this. This I know. Say something else. Okay, Brahman means this. This I know. Say something else. So after some time, this spiritual master said, please wait. I'll bring something for you. So he went inside, brought a jar full of milk and a glass. Kept the glass in front of him and started pouring the milk into the glass. He said, please. And then kept on pouring till the glass was full. Now the glass was full, but still he was pouring the milk. And the milk was spilling out, and this disciple, this person who had come, he said, hey, what are you doing? Don't you see? He said, what? Glass is full. He said, that is what I am trying to tell you. Your glass is full. You have come with a full glass, so there is no scope of giving anything. So when we go to spiritual master, we should go with an empty glass. Okay? Don't take your full glass. And I know everything. I've read. Yeah, we are not this body. I heard it many times. You are supposed to follow this. I know. You are supposed to chant. I have been chanting from my childhood. Right? We have this. So Yudhishthira teaches us the way to approach the spiritual master. And Duryodhana teaches us the way how we should not approach a spiritual master. How Duryodhana went, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, Raja Vachanam Abravit. He went like a king and started chastising, Pashyatam Panduputranam Acharyam Mahatim Chamum. See, it's all your mistake. The first thing he told Dronacharya was this, it's all your mistake. You see this? They are standing in front of us. You only taught them, na? Your disciple, Pashyatam Panduputranam Acharyam, you are an Acharya for them, Panduputra. See what they are doing. They learned from you and they are standing in front of you. And he mentioned the name of Drishtadumna, Dupadaputrena, Tava Shishyena Dhimata. That you see, you taught him how to kill you. Now he is there to kill you. It's all your mistake. Don't repeat it again. So this is not the way to approach a spiritual master. And that is why he never got a benediction, Vijay Bhava. So our sadhana bhakti starts with approaching the spiritual master in a very humble way. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. And then follow his instructions. There are 5 Ds I would like to mention, leading us to dedication, which every one of us have to go through. Number 1, D is for desire. We should have a strong desire to achieve Krishna. Strong desire. Like the urge to eat when we are hungry. Too hungry, you have not taken anything, no food from 2 days or 3 days. How many days can you fast? Half a day? We have this Nirjala Ekadashi. Next day, our chanting is for the clock. We have mala in our hand, no strength, and our eyes are on the clock. 6:15 is the paran time. And then all are looking at that. Okay. And as soon as 6:15, khatam. That eagerness for Krishna we want. Just to take that water. We have been fasting whole day, not taken water. How eager you are, that taste, that's the taste of nectar. That day water tastes like nectar, real nectar. Then you can say, Raso hamap sukanteya prabhasmi shashi surya. That eagerness, that desire we should have for Krishna. Like one of the disciple of a guru was taking bath and he went to him, please tell me, when can I see Krishna? So Guru just was taking bath in the river. So he held him with his head and then just dipped him inside the water. And this person was struggling to come out. He just kept him for some time, brought him out, again took him down. So he did it 2-3 times and this disciple was bewildered. What did I ask? My only question was, how can I see Krishna? When can I see Krishna? Why all this? Why this punishment? So the Guru said, when you were inside the water, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that you will go and have a nice feast and you need an AC or you need all? What were you thinking? He said, how can I think? I was just thinking of air. I wanted to breathe. I was not breathing. So the only thing I could think was of air. I said, sure. He said, yeah. He said, when you think of Krishna like that, when you have a desire to see Krishna in that intense mood, then you can see Krishna. And really, it's a very nice example. I don't know how many of you have experienced inside the water. Anyone was drowning and was saved? No? You do not know, what kind of feeling a person has when he's drowning. He cannot think of anything other than just coming out of water. That's all. Nothing else. So when we have that kind of intense desire to see Krishna, then we can see Krishna. So number one is desire. You should have strong desire. But just strong desire, is it enough? If you have just strong desire to see Krishna, can you see Krishna? No, that's not enough. Then we should have, when we have a desire, then we should have proper direction. So when you have an intense desire to see Krishna, Krishna manifests himself in the form of a spiritual master and he gives you directions. So that's the second D. We should have desire and then direction. We need direction, all of us. Who told us Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Srila Prabhupada. Right? Who told us we have to chant the holy name? Srila Prabhupada. It's not that from our childhood we were born with the mala and we're just chanting holy name. No. That's why in Hindi, I think Tulsi Das has written, Guru Govind dono khade kaake lagu paaye, balihari Guru aapne Govind diya milaye. He said, if Guru and Govind both are standing, so he says, I'm confused, kaake lagu paaye, whom should I first bow down to? But he says, I'll bow down to Guru because he is the one who introduced me to Govinda. That's why in our temple when we enter, what do? Whom do we pay first obeisances? Srila Prabhupada. He is the one who introduced us to Krishna. Yes, we understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Guru is not Krishna. Yes, he is not God. But then he is the one who took us to God. And we should always be grateful. Devotion means attitude of gratitude towards God and his pure devotees is called devotion. That's all. If you are not grateful, you may be a big scholar, knowing all the Shastras, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever. But if you are not grateful, if your heart is not full of gratefulness to the Lord or to the devotees of the Lord, you can never be called a devotee. Your heart will never melt, your heart will never change. So attitude of gratitude towards God is devotion. Be thankful, be grateful for what Srila Prabhupada has given us, for what Krishna has given us. Be grateful to Krishna for giving us Srila Prabhupada. Be grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us Krishna. That is devotion. So the second D is direction. We need a direction. We need a person who can direct us. Do this, do that, do this. That is sadhana bhakti. Guru gives us sadhana bhakti. And then when he gives, what is the next D? Discipline. We require discipline. He has given us direction. If we don't follow, what is the point? Do we get Krishna? No. So we have desires, strong, intense desire. We get direction from the spiritual master and we follow it sincerely. That's called sadhana bhakti. That follow very sincerely. Each and every word, each and every instruction of spiritual master, try to make it as a life and soul. Whatever he says, whatever he expects, and what does a bona fide spiritual master expects us to do? Devotional service. serving the Lord, chanting the holy names. That's all. Following the principles. Actually, in devotional life, small things do matter. We should do small things very sincerely. If you do that, you can be successful in your sadhana. For example, following 4 regulative principles. We will not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. It's one of the regulative principles. Many of us are not able to follow that. Eating only things which are offered to Krishna. Simple thing, but we are not sincere in that. Right? You eat chocolates? No? Okay. Simple things. You should be sincere. You can inquire, you can now go into your hearts and see whether you really follow these 4 regulative principles very seriously, sincerely. Are you following the direction? Are you disciplined? If not, then start doing it. Start doing the small things of bhakti very sincerely. That will take us to Krishna. So the 4th D is determination. When sincerely you follow the direction given by the spiritual master in a disciplined way, in a very strict way, you perform your sadhana, that brings determination. You become determined, Dhrida Bhakti. And that is what everyone is desiring. Even to the point, Parshuram. You know, when Parshuram met Lord Ramachandra, all of you know that. Lord Ramachandra had just married and was coming out, and Parshuram came to give a marriage gift to him. And he said, I will kill you. That was the gift Parshuram wanted to give. He said, how dare you break? This bow was very dear to me. How dare you break it? Lakshman said, actually he did. He was just trying to string it and he broke. What can he do? Hey, he got more angry. Then he said, okay, if you think that you have a lot of power, take this one. He had the bow of Vishnu. That was of Shiva and this was of Vishnu. And just take this and show me. I'll see what you can do. Ram said, okay. Ram was telling, okay, no. Okay. So he just took it. And Parshuram was stunned because that was a bow. Apart from him, only Vishnu could lift it. So then he understood. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that time, of course, there was a long discussion between them. In the end, Lord Ram told him, ask for some benediction. And you know what was the benediction Parshuram asked? Anyone knows? Parshuram asked benediction. He says, Yadi me nugraho ramam tavasti madhusudanaha. So he addressed Ram as Madhusudan because he knows that there is no difference between Ram and Krishna. So he says, Yadi me nugraho rama, hey Rama, if you want to give me some benediction, show your mercy upon me, Yadi me nugraho rama tavasti madhusudanaha. So what is the benediction he asked? That I ask you only two things. I want the devotion to your lotus feet and association of your devotees. These are the two things he asked. So just I want this thing. Yadi me nugraho rama tavasti madhusudanaha tvad bhakta pado tvad bhakta sangas tvad pado dhrida bhakti sadastu me. He asked this thing. He said, I just want that I should perform devotional service to your lotus feet and tvad bhakta sangas. I can get association of your devotees. That's all. I don't want anything. This is Parshuramji is asking. So dhrida bhakti sadastu me. He wanted it. So we get determination. And when you have this, when you have a strong desire, Krishna manifests as spiritual master, gives you direction. When you follow that direction, your life becomes disciplined. And when your life is disciplined, you develop that determination. And with that comes dedication, the 5th D. Then you are able to dedicate yourself to Krishna. So that's why it's important for all of us to follow the sadhana bhakti. And in this following of sadhana bhakti, when you're following sadhana bhakti, when you're trying to please Krishna, Srimati Radharani helps us. when you follow sadhana bhakti, to follow sadhana bhakti, because we seek her blessings. When we say Hare Krishna, Hara is name, is potency of Krishna, name of Radharani. So we are seeking her blessings first. But please bless me. Actually, one time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was doing Radha Kund Parikrama. And then he saw, some of his disciples saw that King of Jaipur also came to do Bharatpur, I think, or something, came to do the Parikrama. So then they all said, they said to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, see, even the king has come to see do the Parikrama of Radha Kund. So Bhaktisiddhanta said, you know why is he doing Parikrama of Radha Kund? So they said, no, maybe because he said, because actually he is a devotee of Krishna. But because Radharani is related to Krishna, that's why he is also doing Parikrama of Radha Kund. But we are not like that. He said we are devotees of Radharani. But because Krishna is related to her, we also worship Krishna. Right? So we are all devotees of, we are coming in Parampara, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakurs. So we are all devotees of Radharani. And to seek her mercy, to seek her blessings, we need to show our eagerness to achieve Krishna. And that comes through strong sadhana. So if we really want to celebrate Radha Ashtami, then we should, with a strong desire, by the direction of the spiritual master, becoming disciplined in our life with determination, we should dedicate all our activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You have any questions? What's the time? We have till 8 o'clock, right? I was told till 8 o'clock. Yes, any questions? Yes, Mataji. Yes, very nice. A practical question. That yes, we want to become strict, but if we force ourselves to get up for Mangalarti, then whole days. Actually, you should plan your day. Number one, there are various things I am going to tell. Number one, you should plan your day. Planning day means you should see to it that you prepare yourself for tomorrow, starting from today night. At what time you sleep. There are times like many devotees tell me the child is very small and the child doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep till 1 o'clock. What can we do? It's an emergency. You can only pray to the child instead of praying to Krishna that Baba, please sleep, please sleep. But otherwise, we should plan our day. What time you will sleep. What we do, that tomorrow we have to chant our rounds attentively, we start planning from the night itself. Yeah? So you should plan. That will bring you into proper consciousness. So number one is try to plan your day in such a way that you get enough time to perform your sadhana. And it can be done. It's only that daily we have caught up with so many things that we think it's not possible. It's possible. It's how you prioritize your life, things in your life. See, the thing which you give priority to, you do it. Anyway you do it. Even if you are too busy. But if you are giving priority to something, you definitely do it. So that means if you are not able to perform your sadhana properly, it only means that you have not given it a priority. You are giving priority to other things in your life. That is also important. Don't misunderstand that means you should give up your duties towards your family, give up duties towards your child, give up, not like that. I'm not saying that, which will be a disaster. You should not do that. Not that I just want to perform devotion service, let my child cry. I'll give you an example. One one couple came and met me, and this husband was complaining. He said, Prabhuji, I come to the house after working, he is not a devotee, but wife is a devotee. He said, I come back and I expect at least, some things from my wife, and then she'll sit for chanting for 2 hours. He said, I just come and then, and she said, no talking, and don't do anything. And for 2 hours, he said, I'm anyway tired, I need certain things. And, it's like, and she said, no, I'm chanting, don't do that. And sometimes she chants till 12 o'clock and this and that, like that. So no, we have to balance, because wherever we are, in whatever position we are, we should try to balance and perform devotional service. We should not don't make rules as rituals. That story of a lady who was very much attached to the husband, not attached, but she was devoted to the husband, and her rule was that she never used to eat unless husband eats. So it was a rule. And one day husband went out somewhere, so she was offering it to the photo. She had husband's photo. She was so dedicated and devoted and whatever. She said, unless my husband eat. So she took a big photo and she was offering, and husband was taking. And actually husband came, and he knocked the door. Please open the door. She said, no, wait. My husband is, I'm your husband. I want to come in. He said, no, you cannot. Right now offering is going on. So this is like making rules as rituals. I'm so attached to my husband, unless he eats, I will not allow my husband to come inside. So let's not make it into a ritual. So be practical, but at the same time, don't compromise on your sadhana. So plan it out. If you plan out, definitely you will get enough time. So balance it, give enough time for your children, give enough time for your other things at the same time. But then even suppose after doing all these things you find that it is impossible to take the time off, somehow you're not able, then you have to take some hard steps. Like suppose you're working and because of the work you don't get time to do, then you have to think something about it. That's what I said. What priority you have in your life. Yes, family is priority, but because that is your duty, you cannot give it up. But then devotion is also. So let's try to. So this is in general, but for you particularly, as per your schedule, as per your thing, you have to consult with some person grahasthas who know, and they can do it. But main thing is you should prioritize, give priority to this, and then you can do it. Right? Any other question? Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. When we chant with devotees, it's very nice. And when we are doing it at home, that is also very nice. But not for Krishna. The reason is that when you're chanting with devotees, you get the potency of the devotees. That's the power of association of devotees. When you're chanting alone, you're trying to, go against the current of the river alone, which is impossible. But when you are with the devotees, you're trying the same thing. You're trying to go against the current of the river, but there are hundreds of devotees who are pulling you. So it becomes very easy. It's like a cakewalk. Yes, do it. So that's why we should try to be in association. If we cannot, suppose every day you cannot come to temple, every day you cannot chant with devotees, but at least, take their association through lectures, like before chanting, hear something and then chant, which will bring you into the mood. One senior devotee also said that if you're not able to be attentive in the chanting, so sit down and think of your favorite place. Maybe, I'm not talking about movies. Favorite place means your favorite deity. Say some people like Radha Madhav in Mayapur, some like Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan, Krishna Balram in Vrindavan, or any other deity, or Radha Ras Bihari Ji. So then you think about that deity and you think that you are sitting right in front of the deity, and then chant. I see your chanting will improve. Any other question? Yes, Mataji. Quality. Definitely quality is more important. But because we do not have the quality, we have to complete the quantity. And when you will have the quality, you will not bother about quantity because it will be much more than what you are chanting now. So you'll go beyond 16 rounds then. So quality is definitely important. Then why are we chanting 16 rounds? Why you have to chant 16 rounds? Because to bring you to that mood, because if we don't keep a fixed number, then you may chant one day 1 round or 2 rounds, and then you say quality chanting ho gaya abhi, finished. So then it will not be there. And this is the instruction like we see in Shad Goswami Ashtakam, Sankhya Purvak Naam Gan Natibhi. So they were also chanting Sankhya Purvak. So that's what we have to do. Sankhya Purvak Naam Gan. Naam ka Gan, they were doing Sankhya Purvak. And Prabhupada has given us minimum 16 rounds, that's all. Actually we are supposed to chant 64 rounds. Prabhupada, and he said 64 rounds, everyone was, Prabhupada, how can we do it? So 32 rounds. 16 bus, that's enough. You have to chant 16. So acharyas can do that as per time, place and circumstances, seeing our condition. If you would not have done this, none of us would be chanting at this stage. Right? Just because he made it to 16, all of us are chanting. So try to improve the quality, but why quantity is necessary? Like when you go to a doctor gives you the medicine and he tells you take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon and 2 in the evening. Do you question the doctor? Why 2? Why not all 6 at one time? Or why not 1? You don't, right? Because doctor knows what is important for you, what is required for you. Now tell me, in the medicine, what is important? The content of the medicine or number? Content, obviously, right? So content is important, but then how much to take, the doctor knows. So Dr. Srila Prabhupada has given us 16 rounds daily. Take it for our disease. Yes, any other question? Yes, bro. Yeah, how do we make children follow the sadhana and all? First, by your own example, you become strict, you follow strictly. Definitely children will, because for children, parents are gurus. So they will follow. So number 1. Second, don't force them. Don't force them. And don't give them mala when they are not even 12. This is a mistake people do. Because when a child is small, he takes everything as a toy. He is 4 year, 5 year, and you give him mala in his hand. Start chanting and you feel very nice. My child, 4-year-old, she is chanting. Very nice. By the time he comes to 12 years of age, he'll give up chanting, as he gives up all other toys. So wait, ask him to chant, but don't give him mala. So don't force him. Don't force your child for anything, even to perform devotional service, even to come to the temple. Don't force. By your example, you show him, inspire him. And then he will come. Why will not come? When my father is doing, why shouldn't I do it? He will do it. But when you force him, he becomes rebellious. He will rebel. Nothing can be forced on the child. It should not be. Just inspire him. Give him that environment. And understand that every child comes with his own karma. If he has to become a devotee, he will. Nothing can stop him. But if he is not supposed to be a devotee, nothing can make him a devotee. All your endeavors, all your efforts, everything we have seen. There are examples of devotee children not becoming devotees. They are bringing their own karma. But our duty is to provide that environment for him to grow, that culture for him to adopt. And when you provide that, that is your duty. So do your duty, but don't expect your child to be a great devotee. Don't have expectation. Do it just as a duty. My duty, as you're doing a duty to provide food, to provide clothing, to provide money, education to the child, similarly provide an environment of devotion. Like when you provide him money for education, and your expectation are he should become topper, and this you expect, right? But it's not that every child becomes a topper. Only one or two will become. So similarly, in this time also, what happens, we want our child to become a very nice devotee, very, strong. I could not become a strong devotee, my child should become a strong. How is it possible? Give him some time. We expect him to do everything fast. Yes, you take 25 years to become devotee, and you want in 2 years your child should become a devotee. How is it possible? Give him time. But don't force him. So our duty is to give that environment, that climate, that environment for him, culture for him, and then it's up to him. Right? Yes, Mataji. You have a question, Prabhuji will answer. Might be. So you should reduce your chanting, you mean to say? Too many services are coming, reduce it, don't ask for service more. How to balance, yeah. Yeah, when the services are coming, if they are coming through authorities, we should accept the services till the point where we can do it, we can justify it, because we should see to it that every seva should be justified. We should do it in a nice way. Not that you have 10 seva and you are not able to do any seva properly. Better than that, have one seva but do it in a nice way. But when a lot of sevas are coming, and if your authorities feel that yes, you can do it, try doing it. Till the point your body, your mind, your intelligence says no, cannot be done. Then go and discuss with your authorities that okay, sevas have come, but I am happy to do it, but then I have limitations, because our body has limitation, what can be done? So if you are asked to continuously work till 12 o'clock in the night and then get up and for the Mangal Aarti and throughout the day keep working, how many days you can do it? It's our body has limitations. So that can be discussed. So there is no harm in refusing for a seva if you cannot do it. In the sense, you already have so many sevas. But if you can do it and you are not taking up, then it's an offense. We should take more and more responsibilities for Krishna. The more we take responsibilities for Krishna, Krishna is pleased by that. The more and more, as much we can. I'm not saying ki just go on taking and then one day give up all the sevas. But as much as we can. So you should be practical also. Take as much as you can. But keep chanting. Don't think that chanting is bringing a lot of service, so let me reduce my chanting. Keep chanting. Keep thanking Krishna for sending so many services. Pray to Krishna that give me strength that I can do all the services. And that's one reason why a devotee wants to go to spiritual world. Otherwise, for a devotee, every place is a spiritual world. Why we aspire to go to spiritual world? That's one reason. Because we don't have a material body there, so we can go on serving. Then there is no restriction. Spiritual body, you go on serving. But in material body, there are restrictions. We are not able to do. It has limitations. So whatever you can do, you should do it, but do it nicely. And if more and more services are coming, take what you can do. If you cannot do, you can discuss with your authorities. There is no harm. You can reduce, but take services which you can do nicely. Take more responsibility, no problem, as much as you can. It's good. But see to it that you justify all your services. That also is required. Otherwise, you will get fried out. And after some time, you will give up all the services. You will say, forget it, this is too much for me, I cannot handle. So take, like we should think for long term, not just for short term. Long term is do less seva but do it for long time, rather than doing lot of services and then just giving up everything. So just be practical. Whatever you can, you do it. Otherwise, you can refuse, no problem. But refuse in a polite way. Okay, any other question? Yes. Just 1 minute, he has one question. Yes. हाँ जी. Preaching? हाँ. हाँ. नहीं, बहुत अच्छा. एक चीज़ बहुत अच्छी है, प्रभु जी कह रहे हैं कि मैं यहीं पे रह के प्रचार करना चाहता हूँ, गोलोक जाके क्या फ़ायदा, वहाँ प्रचार किसको करेंगे, वो तो सारे भक्त हैं. एक्चुअली सही है, यू नो. प्रीचर्स के लिए गोलोक में एंट्री नहीं है. किसको प्रीचिंग करेंगे वहाँ पे जाके, सारे ही डिवोटीज़ हैं, किसको जाके बताएंगे होली नेम लो, चैंटिंग करो, वो ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं सब. वो लोग हमें बोलेंगे बेटा अभी अभी आया, बैठ जाते. हम समझाते हैं क्या करना है, प्रीचिंग मत करो. हाँ हाँ हाँ. तो प्रभु जी का पॉइंट है कि हमें सेवा करना ही है, तो हम वहाँ क्यों, यहीं रह के अच्छी, यहाँ ज़्यादा अच्छी सेवा, बहुत अच्छा है. लेकिन एक बात जो आपने कही उसको थोड़ा चेंज करना चाहिए. जैसे आपने कहा कि मैं प्रचार करना चाहता हूँ, ये आपने कहा, तो जहाँ मैं प्रचार करना चाहता हूँ तो इसका अर्थ क्या है कि आप कृष्ण से आसक्त नहीं हैं, आप उस सेवा से आसक्त हैं. तो आपको प्रचार करना अच्छा लगता है इसलिए आप प्रचार करेंगे. आपको दूसरी कोई सेवा अच्छी नहीं लगती है तो आप वो नहीं करेंगे. ये भक्ति नहीं है. भक्ति क्या है, कोई भी सेवा दीजिए. आज हम प्रचार कर रहे हैं, कल को हमको कहा जाए कि प्रचार बंद करो, मंदिर में झाड़ू लगाने वालों की कमी है, आप झाड़ू लगाओ, नहीं झाड़ू लगाने कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, वो भी सेवा है. फिर कहा जाए कि नहीं अभी कुकिंग करना है, कुकिंग करना है. तो हमें को पर्टिकुलर सेवा से आसक्त नहीं होना कि मुझे अच्छा लगता है वो, क्योंकि जब मुझे जो अच्छा लगता है मैं करता हूँ, वो भक्ति नहीं है. कई बार लोग कहते हैं मुझे राधा रास बिहारी के दर्शन बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं, और लगता है कि हाँ भक्ति है. क्यों? गौर निताई भगवान नहीं है. हाँ. या फिर आज भगवान की ड्रेस बहुत अच्छी है, कल नहीं थी. कल भगवान अच्छे नहीं लग रहे थे, कल भगवान नहीं थे. तो मुझे जो अच्छा लगता है वो जब हम करते हैं तो भक्ति नहीं है. क्योंकि मुझे अच्छा लगता है भगवान के लिए हार बनाना, मैं भगवान के लिए हार बना रहा हूँ. कल को मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, नहीं बनाऊंगा. ये कौन सी भक्ति है? ये तो कोई सेवा भाव नहीं है. अच्छा, क्योंकि मुझे अच्छा लगता है. तो कई बार लोग ये कहते हैं, उनसे पूछा आप मंदिर क्यों, मुझे मंदिर आना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. तो मतलब कल को अच्छा नहीं लगेगा तो नहीं आओगे? नहीं, हमें आना है. आपको अच्छा लगे या ना लगे, भक्ति करनी है. आपको हार बनाना अच्छा नहीं लगता, लेकिन आपको सेवा दी गई, हार बनाना है, भले अच्छा ना लगे. यही तो भक्ति है, यही तो समर्पण है. समर्पण मतलब यही कि अपनी इच्छाओं को त्यागिए. अब भी भक्ति में आकर भी अगर हम यही करेंगे कि जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है, तो समर्पण कब करेंगे? तो इसलिए उसको त्यागना है. और दूसरी बात कि हाँ वहाँ भी सेवा, यहाँ भी सेवा करनी है, तो हम यहीं रहें, ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है आध्यात्मिक जगत जाने की. वैसे आपको बताएं कि प्रभुपाद चौथे स्कंद में पृथु महाराज की कथा में एक तात्पर्य में लिखते हैं कि भौतिक जगत नाम की कोई चीज़ ही नहीं है. यस, भौतिक जगत नाम की कोई चीज़ नहीं है. तो फिर आप कौन से जगत में हो? आध्यात्मिक जगत में हो. तो आप ऑलरेडी आध्यात्मिक जगत में हो. प्रभुपाद कहते हैं केवल हमारे देखने की दृष्टि, जो हमारी दृष्टि है, वो उसको किसी चीज़ को भौतिक या आध्यात्मिक बनाती है. सो प्रभुपाद जैसे भक्तों के लिए भौतिक जगत है ही नहीं. वो देखते ही नहीं है. वो जो देखते हैं कृष्ण को देखते हैं. प्रभुपाद एक बहुत बड़े फॉल्स को देखने गए, जैसे नायगरा फॉल्स या कोई फॉल्स को देखने गए. उन्होंने देखा वाह क्या फॉल्स हैं. तो प्रभुपाद ने क्या कहा, देखो कृष्ण की शक्ति. प्रभुपाद उसमें कृष्ण को देख रहे थे. और एक बहुत बड़े साइंटिस्ट आए बालाजी के दर्शन करने, और बालाजी के दर्शन करके बोलते मुझे यहाँ पर एक पॉजिटिव एनर्जी फील हो रही है. क्या मूर्ख आदमी है, सामने भगवान खड़े हैं, वो फील नहीं हो रहे, उनको एनर्जी फील हो रही है. और प्रभुपाद जब एनर्जी को देखते हैं तो उनको कृष्ण फील हो रहे हैं. ये भक्त है. तो हमारे देखने की नज़रिया किसी चीज़ को भौतिक या आध्यात्मिक बनाता है. तो इसीलिए हमें ये इच्छा नहीं करनी है कि हम आध्यात्मिक जगत चले जाएं, हम भगवान के धाम चले जाएं. सेवा करते रहें. चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने कहा मुझे नहीं चाहिए न धनम न जनम न सुंदरीम कविताम व जगदीश कामे मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे मुझे जन्म देते रहिए, भवतात भक्ति रहे तो कितवई, केवल आपकी भक्ति चाहिए। तो ये तो है, चैतन्य महाप्रभु का आंदोलन यही सिखलाता है हमें, तो अच्छी बात है। लेकिन फिर भी इस जगत में थोड़ा सा खतरा है। आज भक्ति है, अगले अगले जन्म में भक्ति नहीं मिली तो क्या होगा। तो इसीलिए गुरु का आश्रय श्रील प्रभुपाद जी के चरणों में प्रार्थना की, हर जन्म में हमें आपके चरणों की सेवा मिले, बस ये प्रार्थना करते रहना चाहिए, फिर जो भी सेवा। लेकिन ये एक बात बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप सबको अभी ये बंद करना चाहिए कि मुझे जो अच्छा लगता है वो करना, एक चीज़। और दूसरी चीज़ एक और बंद करनी चाहिए, कृष्ण से मांगना। बहुत मांगते हैं सब लोग, हम लोग बहुत मांगते हैं हर समय। अब बंद करना चाहिए, बहुत हो गया। कितने समय तक मांगते रहेंगे, है ना। धन्यवाद देना चाहिए, शुरू करना चाहिए धन्यवाद देना। अभी आज से शुरू करते हैं, 10 मिनट है। तो आप में से हर एक भक्त आप भगवान को आप बताइए कि आप किस लिए धन्यवाद देंगे, एक एक चीज़। नहीं, ये एवरीथिंग जनरल है, ये जब ये पर्टिकुलर बोलना चाहिए तो जनरल हो गया। आपको रोज़ देना है, और ज़रूरी नहीं कि हम कहें कि भक्तों का संग दिया, भक्ति दी, ये नहीं, ज़रूरी नहीं है। हमें 10 उंगलियां दी हैं आपकी सेवा करने के लिए, है ना। धन्यवाद दिया आपने कभी, आप में से किसी ने दिया राज बिहारी जी के सामने, गिरधारी जी के सामने जाके कि भगवान 10 उंगलियां दी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कितने सारे लोग हैं उनके हाथ नहीं हैं, आपने मुझे दी। 2 आँखें दी हैं, कितने लोग अंधे पैदा होते हैं। 2 पाँव दिए हैं, कितने लोग लंगड़े पैदा होते हैं। कितने लोगों ने धन्यवाद दिया। कितनी सारी चीज़ें हैं धन्यवाद देने के लिए। तो भी आप लोग शुरू कीजिए यहाँ से, बच्चों से। एक चीज़ खाली बोलना, ज़्यादा नहीं, बहुत सारी हैं, वो कल लिख लेना। रोज़ आप लोगों को लिखना चाहिए एक बुक लेके, कृष्णा आई थैंक यू टुडे फॉर दिस, कृष्णा आई थैंक यू टुडे फॉर दिस। ओके, स्टार्ट। टेल मी वन थिंग व्हाई यू वुड लाइक टू थैंक कृष्णा फॉर, एंड any practical thing, anything, maybe for good food, that's also okay. Yes, you would like to thank Krishna or no? Tell me one reason, एक कारण। Thank loudly. I am not able to hear. राज बिहारी जी कैसे सुनेंगे? Giving good parents, very good. Yes, you should thank Krishna. This is a mercy that you have good parents. They are bringing you to devotion. And for tomorrow, you think what you have to do. Yes, you tell me.
I'm very grateful to Krishna that he has provided association of all devotees and culture in which I can progress spiritually.
Very good. Association of devotees and culture of bhakti. Yes. What would you like Krishna to thank for? Arey, so many things are there, you still think, oh, you have so many things to think. So she is saying that which one I should say. Okay, you want to think? Till that time we will shift. Okay, Mataji. Okay, you are thanking Krishna to bringing me to Meera Road, yes.
It's like Meera Dham.
Huh?
It's like a Meera Dham where we feel
Oh, acha. You're getting good association. Very nice. Yes, Mataji.
and Krishna every time he's helping me to rise in my spiritual.
Good. So you're thanking Krishna every time when he helps you to rise in your spiritual path. Yes, Mataji. Very good. Very nice. Yes, these are the things, but keep thanking. There are so many other things also. Yes, Mataji. Cha. Very good. Thank you. Mataji. Group. Don't be attached to group, but be attached to Krishna. Yes, Mataji. जय, बहुत अच्छा. Yes, Mataji.
I'd like to chant Prabhupada.
You would like to
Prabhupada,
thank Prabhupada,
Yes.
not Krishna.
not Krishna.
Okay.
Because the first book which I read when I got to ISKCON was Back to Godhead
Mm.
by ISKCON Temple at Chupati by Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He was the first disciple of Prabhupada. I saw him. I never knew what was ISKCON first. But first I saw Radhanath Swami Maharaj, I read Back to Godhead, and after that I joined ISKCON. So I'm very thankful to Srimati Radharani for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. At least from Prabhupada, you shifted to Srimati Radharani. And yes, Mataji. हाँ, घूमने को मिलता है. अच्छी अच्छी जगह जाने को मिलता है. या बहुत सारे धन्यवाद देना चाहिए भगवान को. माताजी. बच्चे सेवा करते हैं. ओह, अच्छा अच्छा. हाँ, अच्छा, धन्यवाद देना चाहिए. बड़े भाग्य से मिलते हैं ऐसे बच्चे जो भगवान के भक्त हों. यस.
Thank Krishna for covering me the spiritual master who accepted me as his disciple.
गुड.
As I told you in the morning, the objective of today was just to chant and feast. That is what we come for. But I thank Krishna to provide your association inside such a good lecture on sadhana. So that I additional focus.
Yeah, you should not thank because it was a distraction in your chanting and feasting. You could have eaten dosa now. Pizza? Okay. Pizza. Yes, probably after.
Every day I do Mangal Aarti.
Huh.
Tomorrow I will be missing.
Tomorrow you'll be missing.
I will be here.
You do it here, Mangal Aarti.
But I do myself.
Acha, oh, you perform the Aarati.
Otherwise I never daily Kata you do Mangal Aarti.
No problem. When you're standing in front of Krishna and when the pujari is doing, you think that you are standing and you're doing. So tomorrow will be a great day because you will get to do the Aarati of Radha Ras Bihari Ji. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank Krishna to give me this spiritual path.
Yes.
1969 में मैं पैदा हुआ था, तो मुझे अजीब सा लगा. प्रभुपाद तो थे एक तरह, लेकिन मुझे पहला ऐसा लगता था कि मैं बुद्ध को नहीं देख पाया. तो बाद में भक्ति में आगे बढ़ने में समझ आया कि प्रभुपाद ने मूवमेंट खोला है, इसको कंटिन्यू करने के लिए हम बाद में आए और मूवमेंट को आगे बढ़े. इसमें थोड़ा सा
जय. 69 में पैदा हुए थे. प्रभुपाद थे तभी. या ऐसा होता है. हम भी पहली बार हम लोग भी सोच रहे थे कि प्रभुपाद मिल जाते तो अच्छा होता. इसका अर्थ ये है कि अभी भी हम लोग प्रभुपाद को देख नहीं रहे हैं. प्रभुपाद अभी भी हैं, गए नहीं हैं. अपने इंस्ट्रक्शंस के द्वारा, बुक्स के द्वारा वो अभी भी यहाँ पर हैं. केवल हम कैसे उनको देखें वो हमें सीखना है. तो उनके भक्तों के रूप में, उनके मंदिरों के रूप में अभी भी हैं. और उनके भक्त प्रभुपाद के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण थे. एक समय जब भक्त पैलेस ऑफ गोल्ड बना रहे थे, श्रील प्रभुपाद का एक मंदिर है वेस्ट वर्जीनिया में, पैलेस ऑफ गोल्ड, मतलब पूरा प्रभुपाद के लिए ही बनाया है. तो प्रभुपाद ने गए तो भक्तों ने उनसे पूछा, सब दिखा रहे थे भक्त ऐसे ऐसे ऐसे. तो उन्होंने पूछा कि जो पिलर्स बन रहे थे, तो उन्होंने पूछा कि प्रभुपाद हमने सुना है कि कृष्ण के जो द्वारका में महल थे उनके खम्भों में रत्न जड़े हुए थे, तो हम भी इसमें रत्न लगाएं क्या. तो प्रभुपाद ने देखा उनके साथ काफ़ी भक्त थे. तो प्रभुपाद ने कहा कि मेरे लिए रत्न मेरे भक्त हैं. सो माई ज्वेल्स आर माई डिवोटीज, सो वी हैव दोज ज्वेल्स विद अस. तो इसलिए हमें धन्यवाद देना चाहिए. ओके, सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबका. प्लीज़ ऐसे ही धन्यवाद देते रहिए. ऐसे नहीं कि केवल कितने दिन में एक बार आते हैं आप लोग ऐसे साथ में? 1 in 6 months. तो 6 महीने में एक बार धन्यवाद मत दीजिएगा. रोज़ भगवान को धन्यवाद देना है. उनको लिखिए. देखिए, इससे ना बहुत बहुत चेंज होता है लाइफ में. हमारा एटीट्यूड चेंज हो जाता है. हम धन्यवाद देना सीखते हैं. नहीं तो हमेशा मांगते रहते भगवान के सामने जाके, मेरा ये करा दो, मेरा वो करा दो, मेरी भक्ति अच्छी नहीं हो रही, मेरी चैंटिंग अच्छी नहीं हो रही. अच्छी कैसे होगी? हम चैंटिंग करते हैं और ये नहीं सोचते कि कृष्ण खड़े होकर सुन रहे हैं। अगर आप ये सोच लो कि मेरी चैंटिंग पास में ही कृष्ण खड़े होकर सुन रहे हैं, आपकी चैंटिंग कैसी होगी? आप कैसी चैंटिंग करोगे? हरे कृष्ण 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम, ऐसे करोगे? कृष्ण सुन रहे हैं खड़े होके पास में, तो आपकी चैंटिंग कैसी होनी चाहिए? हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। स्पष्ट होगा ना? नहीं तो कृष्ण पीछे से लगाएंगे, ठीक से बोलो। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम चैंटिंग करो आप तो ये सोच लेना बस इधर ही खड़े हुए हैं, ज़रा सा गलत बोला तो पड़ेगा एक पीछे से, इसलिए कैसे बोलना चाहिए। तो हम लोग ये सोचते नहीं हैं। तो इसीलिए 6 महीने नहीं, हर रोज़ भगवान को धन्यवाद दीजिए, क्योंकि भगवान ने बहुत कुछ दिया है। और मांगना बंद कर दीजिए भी, कुछ नहीं मांगना, बहुत दे दिया भगवान ने। ठीक है? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम।